A lot of time being spent for this fourth pick, Khan. Just having a brief think about it.
Radiant team pick.
Okay, they go for the Slark. I can't say I mind this. It's going to be fun watching something different. Slark can be very, very effective up against the Mars Ruby combination because Dark Pack can just purge off all those stuns, assuming, of course, you do predict the lift incoming.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Team Singularity, they might be a little confused by this Slark pick. There's no real reason for the Slark to come out.
Dire team ban.
They'll go into the OD. So one way you can deal with the Slark is just throw him into the Astral Imprisonment. And that can be very, very effective indeed. Of course, the hammer that the OD can drop, the ultimate, of course, is really good with the Mars. Basically covers the whole surface area of the Arena of Blood.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
And OD in general just enjoys going up against Timber. The Arcane Orb does not care for the Timbersaw armor.
Radiant team ban.
You see the Bloodseeker ban, a direct counter towards the Slark. That's fair. I wonder what they give Arrow mid. Like, if they really wanted to, the Medusa's still there.
10
It's a
seconds
little bit
remaining.
greedy, but there aren't any direct counters towards the Medusa.
5 seconds remaining.
You could go down that route. Medusa in general doesn't like being astraled, but once you get to the mid to late game, maybe you have a BKB up, you don't really care for it anymore. Otherwise, Arrow may just want to go for some kind of fighting core again. Someone who deals with the
Radiant
OD.
team pick.
Except they'll ban out the Quap for Singularity. As they are expecting some kind of fighting core to come out from Khan. Gotta say, I feel like Khan's team fight is a little lacking. They don't really have much control apart from the clockwork. Maybe after that first game they feel like they don't need it, but I don't think you
10
should underestimate a
seconds
team like
remaining.
Singularity.
5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Razor.
Alright, we go into the Razor. It's going to be a really rough lane for the Timbersaw. A safe lane Razor loves versing Timbersaw. You're going to force him to go for the Chains build instead of the Whirling Death and Reactive Armor. That'll slow down his farm. Makes him much less dominant in the lane.
10 seconds remaining.
Khan, do you want to do something like a Medusa? Like, I doubt that's
5
what's coming.
seconds remaining.
So what else is there that Arrow enjoys playing? This would have actually been a pretty decent game for the Pugner again, but that was immediately banned by SNG. Letting time tick out. 30 seconds left for this last pick. You know, there is Ricky. I mean, this is going to sound crazy, and it's not going to happen. But I'm surprised during this series, both teams have left that POS 1 Ricky. The puck will come out for Khan. That's a pretty nice pick. Hold the Razor in. Don't allow him to just roam around the team fight doing whatever he wants with Static Link. It is a very, very nice fighting core as well for Arrow. Does help Slark, who doesn't quite enjoy being kited around. Dream Coil just allows him to just keep whacking away at anyone that gets caught within those Dream Coils. Arrow has been playing a fair bit of puck. Overall, there's your draft. I do tend to lean back towards Khan. I think before the puck pick came out, they were lacking that control in the team fight. But now that you have that Dream Coil that's really on such a low cooldown to begin with, it's really all the team fight they may need. I suppose it is going to be, a lot of it is going to be based off the Slark and how well he can farm. We already know this Timbersaw should not have a good time. Singularity, obviously they need to ensure Excalibur's farm is secured on the OD. Trying to make sure Zitrax has a better start than last game as well. But with the Razor, he should have a fantastic time. And we'll get into it. Game number 2 between these two. Of course, we do have the necessary pause that must come out every single time we start a game. Wouldn't be a game without that. Come on, Mr. Cameraman, what are we going to look at now? Had that many pauses that the cameraman guy is a little short on content now to show during these pauses. Oh, it's a pirate witch doctor. Why does that look so bad? Like the texturing just isn't there, unless it's the feed that we're casting off, which it probably is actually now that I think about it. All right, we have the go ahead. Just gotta wait on Singularity, and they're cool. Oh, no, Hester Joe wants a second. Suzuya with the question mark. How rude of them to unpause. They give the question mark back. You never get question marked. Take it. You always give it back. So this mid matchup should be just an even farm kind of lane. Like, the OD should theoretically, on paper, have an advantage because of the Astral Imprisonment. The thing is, though, the puck doesn't necessarily need to stand very close to get last hits. So we may not see many Astrals really stopping Arrow from farming. Top lane, Hester Joe, Rodden. Shouldn't be as bad as last game. Slark is a bit of an easier matchup. Of course, you want to be careful about how many essence shift stacks you give away to the Slark. It does tend to harass you every time you go in for a last hit as a melee core. But the Mars is one of those heroes that can just spear you away. And with that spear, you know, usually manages to walk out safely. But I'm sure that the Slark will probably invest in level 2 Essence Shift early on, just to get maximum value out of taking any stacks he can from Hester Joe before he does get speared away.
The battle begins.
Tell me someone saw that.
It's going to be a 2-for-2 trade on those bounties, as we do see Puba going in for the last one. And here we go again with the creep blocks. Can't. This is just really great because you just stop you force the creep wave into the opposing tier 1, and then the creep wave just pushes all the way to your tier 1. And Zitrax, I mean, there's not much he could have done about that. Like, he could have tried to go for a static link straight away onto the Timber. He will now. And we automatically see the chains already coming out from the Timber. Understanding the matchup. It's just important for him to get any advantage he can by making that block happen. Up atop, DNZ gonna be there with Hester Joe. Puba copying a lot of harass from DNZ.
That's right.
Using the Fade Bolt on the way out. We'll take a tier 1 hit. Astral gonna be there from Excalibur. Currently the mid lane is a very even 4-2 and 4 or 5-2 now for Arrow. The fun thing about the Snapfire and Slark combos, you don't actually have to commit Pounce to try and initiate. Use Cookie first, and that'll guarantee you the Pounce target. Slark did have a little bit of a rough start in terms of CS, but is starting to catch up. Though the Razor is well and truly far ahead, 13 and 4 down to the bot lane. That was to be expected. We even talked about this during the draft phase. There's just nothing the Clock Timber can do to stop this Razor from farming this safe lane. As there is going to be a lift, but no spear will come out from Hester Joe. Uber now going to rotate in with the Scatter Blast. Oh, spear will now latch. The Slark going to fall quite low. Cookie will barely save him. You can see there's always going to be a risk to trying to get Essence Shift stacks off the Mars, and the spear is the big risk. This Puba again really getting harassed out by DNZ. Zitrax, static link, Paralyzer Cask is going to land with the Melodict. Going to be a fair bit of damage, but again he'll chain away. They won't kill him, but they're doing something even better than killing him, which is not allowing him to soak XP properly. As top lane, the Slark tries to pounce forward, doesn't get anything out of it, though Yumich is going to try and find a trade here onto DNZ, and he does grab it on the clock.
That was canned laughter.
But still, they found the first blood on the Slark. They've completely ruined this safe lane for Khan. Singularity definitely will not mind losing their Rubik there. Suzuya will not leave this Timber alone. The Melodict might actually pop Timber if he's not too careful. Plasma Field will land, and that's going to be enough. He changes away, but Suzuya does take the kill. It's a very, very rough start for Khan. Great news for Singularity. Yumich is kind of forced to stick around this top lane. You can't afford to send Yumich down back bot because he'll just soak XP off the Timbersaw. And he's already going to have a bad enough game as it is. So he's forced to just keep roaming around, but it makes it even harder when he has to try lane like this. He'll go in with the battery assault, but what are the chances they actually find the kill? Well, they get the pounce off, but now Suzuya, he'll TP in. Puba is getting way too low, and he does fall as now the Slark gonna try and run. They take the bounty off them to boot, and Hester Joe soon enough will have a spear available. They won't even bother pursuing any longer. That'll make it a 3-1. The one saving grace is Arrow is still having a great old time in mid, but he's not exactly slowing down Excalibur. The OD is still also basically free farming. The top lane, paralyzing casps again. Cookie gonna save the slug for now. They want to try and get Hester Joe, but the spear back on your Mitch. And it looks like they are gonna permanently stick with this tri-lane versus tri-lane. The lift onto Puber again. This poor Snapfire. DNZ is gonna haunt him the rest of the game, it seems, as another kill has been taken by this Rubik. That's the one thing with the Snapfire, it is so darn squishy. It is not a tanky hero at all. So as soon as you get the lift, it's almost a guaranteed kill, assuming your teammates are nearby. Zirax. Bot lane gonna be chased down. He's been left alone, and that's enough for the Timber to actually get a kill, and that really shouldn't happen. He's only got level 3 chains and chakra, but somehow managed to find the Razor. Now top lane, a lot of havoc. Again, Puber almost falls. So they're going after DNZ, the Cookie. It won't land. The battery assault from your Mitch is gonna be enough. They'll continue to chase this Clockwork. Do they have a spear? Not quite. Puber actually runs back in, though it will allow Suzuya now to get attacked by this Slug, who has Shadow Dance. In fact, he doesn't yet, but it doesn't matter, although it does. The spear will save the day for Suzuya. Your Mitch coming back in again to try to get this Witch Doctor kill. It looks like he is going to tick out to Melodic. And that's going to be a triple kill for Hester Joe. It looked so good for them at the start of that engagement, but you saw Puber go back in for some reason. And then everybody else kind of did the same thing. It's going to let Singularity have a 7-3 lead in terms of kills. Is Arrow now going to try and make a play onto this OD with the Dream Coil? They cannot break the tether, but it doesn't matter. Arrow does get Excalibur down. Yumich was there to help on the clock. Looks like Yumich has had enough of that top lane. He doesn't want to be part of it any longer. Unfortunately for him, he does run into the Razor. Yumich, I can't really see if he gets away. In fact, he does.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Don't mind me.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Bot lane, the Timbersaw actually finds the T1 as S&G. They've rotated up to find the top T1 tower.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
That Khan have just brought the Slark down bot.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Slark has found 0 farm. He's at 1.7k net worth. Dreamcall again going to be on the OD. They really want to punish Excalibur over and over again, and they do get the kill. But back to that Slark net worth, he is below DNZ on the Rubik. That's how much they dominated him in the safe lane. In fact, your Mitch is even ahead of his own position 1. There's going to be a while until we see any form of a comeback from that Slark. Mid lane, Hester Joe, Arena of Blood is down. Looks like he has got Yumich in the cogs. He should still drop, but Puber, he doesn't have Scatter Blast. Now he does, but it's not going to be enough damage, though Arrow may go back in by himself with a double damage rune. Or he will go forward. They do get the kill, and now the Timbersaw joins in.
Radiant's middle tower.
I thought they'd have no chance of fighting this early, considering how bad their lanes went, but it seems just with Arrow alone being farmed on the puck, they're able to actually start making things happen. Razor, Zitrax, going to try and punish this Timbersaw now. Bounty Rune will be taken. And it looks like he should be alright. No way for the Razor to hold this Timber down.
A prize.
And that'll make it an 8-7. They've caught up on the side of Khan. 1k net worth lead For the dire side, 10.5 minutes in.
Denied. I'll take that.
Well, we see the Slark desperately trying to catch up. He's got a Wraith Band and some treads coming on the courier. Timber cancelled off the chains. Arena of Blood gonna be there from Hester Joe. That should confirm this kill on the Timbersaw, or maybe it doesn't. He has chains again. He'll get out of there. I cannot believe they don't have the damage. In fact, now I can, because he does have a Hood of Defiance up. Mid lane, Suzuya shows up to try and get a bit of XP on the Witch Doctor, but does get punished immediately. But the reason that Timber didn't die, he had the Hood of Defiance up, so any magic damage was just reduced. It was barely enough for him to chain out in time. Slog. Plasma Field, your Mitch, gonna be there to assist if necessary. He had Shadow Dance anyway, so he would have gotten out regardless. You see Singularity's emphasis just making sure the Slark never feels comfortable. And he's gonna be on the catch up for a while. There's your Mitch. Chain forward from the Rubik DNZ. This should be a very easy pickup. Your Mitch does cogs up. Oh, hook shots away into the neutrals. How the hell does he even find the hook? That is ridiculous. Now Suzuki's going to be chased down. Dream Call there on DNZ. The Snapfire Kisses flying in onto this poor Rubik's head. But your Mitch, surrounded by 5 heroes, finds a hook, finds an angle to get the hook onto the neutrals, and sets up a team fight for Khan.
And it's up.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
That's a
Dire's
3k net
top
worth
tower
lead.
is under attack. Dire are scanning.
It looked so bad for this dire side, but Singularity now on the back foot.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Excalibur goes for the Astral. He does have Suzuya behind him. Chains will be there in time. The Paralyzing Cask will follow, but they don't have any way of locking him down any longer. They're going to still try. Arena of Blood. Spear into the Timber. He will have the puck around. Arrow, does he actually want to dive in? The Timber looks to be dead. Don't let him die in peace.
Radiant's middle tower.
Instead,
is
they'll
under
go after the
attack.
mid-tier 1 tower, and that's just way more valuable anyway. Khan will be okay with this trade.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
So the Razor bot lane now going to be targeted from Khan. They actually make it in time. He hook shot, doesn't latch this time. That's it, they'll retreat again. Or maybe they won't. Zirax.
Dead.
Dire's top tower is under
May regret saying that as he comes to farm a neutral, but they were predicting this. And they commit Dream Coil. And, well, it's going to be a little bit of irony. In fact, Zirax not going to live. Hawk, your Mitch will go down. You found the Razor. In fact, Arrow is still harassing this OD as he goes out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It's 10 to 11. Net worth lead has increased to 4k. You've almost got a diffusal up on this Slark, and that's... He can start to get involved after that diffusal. Generally, you want a secondary core item after you get the diffusal on Slark. You can at least get involved if you need to. Especially if you find a support on their own like this. Suzuya gonna get caught out. Won't even bother with the cast yet. Now he does, but the Dark Pact was there.
You should have hidden before me coming.
That's gonna be his first permanent agility stack on this Slark.
Behold!
Top lane. Razor gonna chase down Puba. Puba does die to the static link. Zitrax gonna try and escape now. Do they have any lockdown? Yamich, he's closing the gap. Dream Call there on the Razor. Arrow setting up. The OD also falling low the chain through. Yamich, he goes for the cog instead on the Mars. Just keeping him out of this team fight as the OD hookshot into the neutrals that were running down the hill. But it doesn't matter.
Radiant
They still find
structures are
the OD and the Razor. On the brighter side for Singularity, Cuba did buy back, and Timber. Uh-oh. Gets caught out with his pants down. Doesn't quite get the chains off in time and does die. Hester Joe will happily pick up the kill on the Mars. Well, it's been a little bit of a back and forth, but there's a 5k net worth lead. Khan is certainly in control here. And with this Razor pick, it does tend to drop off unless you continue to snowball. Zirax, he's desperately trying to get that Diffusal Blade up. It's going to be a little bit slower than you would have hoped, considering how much of a decent lane he had to start with. But somehow the Slark has found himself at the top of the hero levels. And hookshot, mid lane, they find the Witch Doctor, Suzuya. Another easy kill.
And their corpses closer.
The Arrow looks like he wants to go for a Dagon. Can't blame him.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The Slark is really just caught up. That advantage is just completely gone for this Radiant side. So they are going to hunt again bot lane. Mitch going to get DNZ. Cog's not going to be there yet. The lift is there, but Suzuya going to be the real target for this Slark as the kisses are already flying in. Spear there from Hester Joe into the Death Ward. Shadow Dance, does he have it available? He won't even pop it yet. He's just holding out. He Dark Pacted off the Melodic anyway, and it looks like Hester Joe now going to be caught out with the Cookie. Scatter Blast, Arena, everything being dropped. Hester, he will be able to run out of there. And they will secure a Timbersaw kill. So it's not all bad. Singularity may actually be okay
Dire's top
with trading
tower
like
is
that.
under attack.
They did have to buy back on Suzuya. And Khan just seemed to be in good spirits anyway. They don't really seem to mind at all. Suzuya. You just bought back, but it looks like you are going back to the grave. Scatterblast connects. Zitrax by himself. At least he got the static link off. Cookie away. DNZ will join in on the Rubik. Slark, where are you going? Hester Joe's going to make the chase. He does have Shadow Dance. So he does have turn potential, but right now he just wants to escape with Spear. Doesn't actually latch on. He will go for the Shadow Dance TB, and the Sanities will not actually be enough damage. You see the immediate tip come out to Excalibur.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Smoke. Excalibur going to be the target priority. Don't know. Bot lane. They spotted out the Razor. And well, Dream Call is there. They just get Puba straight off the bat, but it's going to be worthwhile if the Razor goes down. He's still surviving. Kirax, can he get out? Not quite, but the Astral is there in time. Now the Arena. They burst down too. This looks really bad for Khan, and Zitrax, of all things, will survive. As Arrow wants to get out, but what a fight from Singularity.
You can run. You should run.
Man, oh man.
Dire's middle tower is
Cuba
under
dies. You'd think they would have found the Razor straight off the bat, but just everyone from Singularity was there immediately. Try and back him up.
Haste.
attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
We actually sit at a very tight score of 18 to 18 at 21 minutes in. 2k net worth lead still there for Khan. But SNG certainly started to pull back their way. You do see the Dagon though, now on Arrow.
Dire's middle tower
They
is
will
under
go for the outpost still. Khan is still happy to continue trying to team fight through this dire jungle. You'll see a smoke SNG now.
Radiant's bottom
It was
tower
pinged
is
out
under
immediately. I
attack.
believe somebody was underneath an observer ward when they did smoke. You'll see everyone from Khan retreating. In fact, Dreamcore barely misses out on Zitrax. He's going to be able to TP out of there. Nice little quick TP from Zitrax once he saw the Dream Coil. And SNG, they're still smoked up. They're still waiting for a target. They haven't quite realized yet that they did smoke underneath that observer ward.
Coming in.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yes, to Joe. Feeling very confident in that mid. Not going to back off. He does have his whole team behind him just across the river. Excalibur now going to move in.
Is under attack.
We'll go after that T1 mid. Khan not willing to defend this. Just going to let it go down.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
They still have bought plenty of time for this Slark. He is trying to rush a BKB now. It's fairly close. He just needs to pick up the recipe. Once you have that BKB up, you feel a lot more confident as the Slark. Pretty much nothing goes through it but the static link. Khan, have they smoked up? They've started going into the Radiant side jungle again. Still plenty of heroes there from Singularity to fight this.
Boom. There it
Rocket
goes.
gonna scout DNZ, gets hookshot straight off the bat. Mitch gonna need some backup to take this Rubik down. In fact, hookshot has been stolen, and now they turn it around. Mitch. Do they fight? The Timber jumps in. Cogs was there from the Rubik as well. Now the Arena of Blood from Hester Joe. They claim two. And that was not the team fight to take. Once you saw Mitch go down to the clockwork, there was really no hope of continuing. They kept going. Khan again,
Generation.
forced to wait for another time to get that team fight that they want. Singularity happily playing around with the side of Khan every time they run in like that. Now you have the BKB up, and I'm not sure why they didn't just wait for that BKB to be available on Slark. At least this time they'll have it.
I was meant to have this.
But you do see the Aghanim Scepter on Excalibur. That'll give him the double Astral Imprisonments. Or Zirax has his own BKB as well as that Diffusal. Khan. Rotating in mid, Dream Core gonna be there on the OD, but an immediate Astral. Now the Kiss is flying in, that should be enough damage, though no. He Astrals himself. Where's the rest of the Radiant side? We'll see the Mars coming in, but Excalibur is already dead, and now they want Zidrax on that Razor. Cogs will be there from DNZ to at least block off the path. Has this Timber overextended again? Not quite.
Middle tower is under attack.
Illusion.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They will go for that mid tier 2.
Radiant's middle
Bit of a
tower
lift.
is under attack.
Oh, Puck jumping back in. Arrow just throws out the Dagon.
Homing in. Much appreciated.
So
Radiant's
they may
top
just give
tower
up on the
is
tier
under
2 as
attack.
well. See the Slark go up to the top tier 1.
Radiant's top tower
And they're okay with just how the game's going now that the Slark's getting farmed. Saw how much easier it was to take a team fight once he had that BKB active. And he'll go into that Aghanim Scepter next. Of course, the Ags makes him just such a slippery hero to catch. Gives him a such good initiation
scanning.
with that pounce. SNG smoking up. Mid lane. There is a spear out onto Arrow. Plasma Field trying to cancel off the blink, but Arrow does time it well. Zirax, why are you popping BKB? I guess just not wanting to risk his life.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
There could have been a return Dream Call, I guess. Doesn't want to risk anything.
Incoming.
With that BKB taken though, can't. They'll smoke up. It'll be on cooldown for another 40 seconds or so. Looks like Singularity are well aware that there's probably a smoke coming. They stick as 5. DNZ has been a real problem in these team fights, but hookshot Yamich, he misses and makes it obvious. Now this smoke may not be too effective, but they BKB up on the Slark. Cookie gonna land on the Razor, but he's been static linked up. He does at least pounce away. Is now the Mars dropping Arena, but catching nobody. It's just a mess of a team fight. Khan, they're gonna lose Yamich on the clock. Now the Astral on the Timber. They've given up the Timber. Gonna chain away. Looks like he is just gonna die. Cookie forward again. Lotus Orb keeping him alive a little bit longer, but there's the Astral.
Middle tower is under
They'll
attack.
keep chasing down Timber until he does eventually die to Excalibur. Go for a little bit more. Cookie. Not gonna land thanks to that blink of the Mars. God's Rebuke actually missed as well onto Puba, but he is certainly dead. They have the Spear. They have the Melodic. Puba's just gonna try and waste a bit of time.
Hard case.
It was just off the back of that hookshot miss. Made it way too obvious they were smoked and coming in, and Singularity, they just waited. You've almost got the Ags now coming on this Slark. Perhaps they'll just want to wait that out before the next team fight.
Rock it on. Ooh.
Singularity. Going into that dire side jungle. No smoke, just wanting to maintain the control of that jungle for once. Khan will take the Radiant side. Just fighting over those outposts before that 30-minute mark. And they'll go for the bot and top tier 2s. Just
Radiant
trading again.
structures are fortified. Dire's top
Arrow
tower
does find a
is
very
under
nice
attack.
double damage though, so you have that for the next team fight as Yamich gonna try and go after that OD Courier. They really want it, and they do get it. He just had a null talisman on there. Not too big of a deal.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
There go those tier 2s.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire are scanning.
Khan looking to set up mid S&G. Seemingly ready for it though. They still are grouped up. Maybe a little bit split as the Razor has started to run top. Yamich looking for a hook shot. He does go straight after the OD. Cox is in back with the Dream Core. Now the Silence and the Kiss is flying in and they do get Excalibur. Zidrak's going to have to try and fight by himself with Hester Joe. They do get Yamich. But you'd be happy with that trade if you are Khan. Now though, the spear onto the Timbersaw into the tower and actually Arrow falling very, very low to the static link. They're still going to try after the Razor. He does manage to blink out of there. But now Khan on the retreat. They may have just given away their Timber. Cuba trying to get in range to throw a cookie, but can't really get there. And the rest of Khan definitely need to just run. Looks like Puba may get caught as well. He'll cookie up the hill, but it doesn't matter. The Slark, though, going to come back in. They're going to reinitiate this team fight. DNZ going to be the target on the Rubik. Can he at least find that? The Slark's not hitting very hard. They'll get one. Now the hookshot Yamich back onto Hester Joe. And they will go after the supports of Singularities. They do get the Witch Doctor, and now the Mars maybe a sitting duck. Hester Joe just wants out of this. He doesn't have any mana left. The Power Tool latch, and those buybacks actually do end up paying off for Khan. Great team fight for Khan. I mean, it really looked bad for a long time. But they managed to push it back. Go for the Roshan. It's not going to be a very quick Roshan with the Slark, but at least he does have a few Essence Shift stacks that he can use. Take it out a bit faster. If I say a few, but he has 24. Let's keep whacking away at this Rosh. Slide of Singularity won't really be up to contest the Roshan. So that's the first Rosh of the game. Aegis on the Slark. Khan back with a 2k net worth lead. Still feels like the Slark is lacking a lot of damage. You are very reliant on getting those Essence Shift stacks up to really get that DPS output. He's going to be going for an Eye of Skadi Nexus. He has started diving down to the bot lane where he has found Sumaya. Suzuya, I should say. Spear back into the tower. That was a really risky play. Arrow, though, jumps in with the Silence. Mitch, are you going to hookshot in? You may need to as your Slark is falling low. He pops BKB. It's not enough. Wow. All this over a Witch Doctor kill. A little too confident. Now lift for Puba. The poor Snapfire has nowhere to go. Astral will secure the kill. Excalibur takes it himself. That was a really deep dive for a Witch Doctor. I mean, it looks like an easy kill, just looking at it, but you can't really tunnel vision like that when you're right next to the Radiant base. You pounce twice away from your team. It was a very far distance. Top lane, Arena of Blood. Arrow will be the one caught out this time. We'll go for the mid-tier too. S&G suddenly in the driver's seat. The cause of Khan just falling apart.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I was meant to have this.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
What was the point of that?
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
So Khan in a bit of a corner. Singularity looking great. Unfortunate for Singularity, they can't really claim something like a Roshan during this period, but I'll have to wait. That'll give Khan a bit more time to get some more items up. That Eye of Skadi should offer some decent stats for this Slark, but you can see up top, up north, the Timbersaur's going down, Mr. Cameraman. There's a team fight. Suzuya was the one to pick up the kill.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Regenerate.
29 to 23. 2k net worth lead for the first time to Singularity. It is very late. But it's a net worth lead nonetheless as Hester Joe, nice spear, pounce, shadow dance, everything being committed. Oh, did they actually find the Astral? Wow, they really did. The TP wasn't there in time. He's forced to BKB now. The Rubik blocking the way. Hook shot. The panic ensues. Cogs has been dropped. The Razor's going to chase after this Slark. And there's the buffer. It's Puba. Going to go down. These are some really confusing plays by Khan. Now you're Mitch getting caught out by Excalibur. And we do have more buffering apparently.
You can.
And there's the stream going offline. Alright, I'll have to get it sorted. I figured this was going to happen when it starts buffering. We'll be back in a second. I'll let them know that their stream has gone down. 1 sec. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Feed is back up and... Where's my cameraman? He's not moving the camera at the moment. There we go. Top lane. They are jumping on the Rubik. The Slark popped the BKB going after the OD now, but there's a side device on the OD. They drop the Sanities. They will burst down this Slark. No buyback available on him. DNZ does go down to the Rubik.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Suzuya still trying to look for Arrow. Paralyzing cast won't lock him down long enough. Huge kill on the Slark though. And, well, Roshan is unfortunately not up for SNG, but it looks like it won't be too much longer till it does respawn. Slark should be ready in time.
Regeneration.
Dire are scanning.
Invisibility.
Bloodthorn even coming out on Zitrax. That Razor really farming up well. Hester Joe gonna find Puba. Snapfire easily taken down by the Mars. In fact, the Timbersaw being caught off guard. Been astraled up. Barrow gonna jump in with a silence, but needs to get out of there as the Timber. Does he have a chance of survival? No, you Mitch, not the Cogs. The chains don't allow him to get up, but the Death Ward's still hitting him. They're going to try and force in a tier 3, except there's still a bot tier 2, so you can't force that tier 3. They'll go back for the tier 2 first. Slark's going to be up in a second, but you don't have your Timber, you don't have Puba on the Snapfire. It's going to be a very, very rough defense. In fact, they've apparently already lost mid lane, Rax. That probably was during the DC as your Mitch hooking in by himself. Does lose his life. Now the Slark, they're going to go after Zitrax, but he's sitting very, very pretty. Shadow Dance comes in. Arrow's caught by the spear. This game looks to be all about over, and there's the GG call. They're about to lose the Slark. No buybacks left. And SNG managed to tie out the series 1-1. What a game it was. It'll actually be Khan's second loss of the whole tournament, believe it or not. Not of series though, just games in particular. But we'll be over to game 3 very, very soon. It is MLP Dota. Hopefully the feed doesn't go down again. Has been a reoccurring problem, but we can't really control it on BTS's end. Nevertheless, we'll be back for game number 3 very, very soon.